Welcome to Nordic Market News, Friday, February the 10th. We summarize the past week's most market-affecting news every Friday. Looking at each country's stock market index, the flood of reports have impacted the Nordic countries throughout the week. Helsinki 25, 1.2% up this week, or 0.4 today. OMX is 30, 0.5 this week, or 0.5 today. OSCBX minus 1 this week, or around 0 today. Copenhagen 20, 0.8 this week, or 0.2 today. And the overall index of Nordic 40, 0.5 this week, or 0.5 today. In Norway, some of Norway's largest companies have delivered their reports this week. Among those are Gjensidige Forsikring, Norsk Hydro, Statoil, and media group Schibsted. Schibsted reported an EBITDA result of 501 million Norwegian kroner for the fourth quarter of 2016. SME Direkt consensus was 500 million Norwegian kroner. Net turnover was about 4 billion Norwegian kroner and pre-tax result 288 million. All in all, Schibsted's fourth quarter was in line with the expectations. On the other side of the scale, we find insurance giant Gjensidige. Gjensidige has been generous with its dividend to the shareholders since its IPO in 2010. 29 billion Norwegian kroner has been given out for 2017, and another 3.4 billion is proposed by the board with 6.8 kroner per share. However, the result for the fourth quarter came in below the market expectations. Gjensidige's pre-tax result was 1.3 billion kroner. Expected was close to 1.5, a 12% difference between expectation and outcome. This is also a significant decrease from the fourth quarter of 2015, when Gjensidige reported a pre-tax result of 1.47 billion. Despite the continued aggressive dividend, the market didn't welcome the insurance giant's result. Overlooking this graph from Infront taken yesterday, Thursday, the negative market reaction is obvious. The stock dropped 6% initially after the report was released and continued to drop during yesterday. Over to Denmark. The trend of large cap reports has taken place also in Denmark during the week. Jewelry maker Pandora reported their fourth quarter of yesteryear this Tuesday, not reaching the market expectations for sales. The result in dividend was elevated compared to the pre-report expectations, but still the company stock dropped due to the report. The pre-tax result was 2.67 billion Danish kroner, net turnover 6.6 billion, compared to expected barely 6.7. An analyst from Danish Alm Brand Market said he wouldn't call the report poor, but as an investor you dig deep through the numbers and discover in Pandora's case that the growth aspect has failed during the quarter. Displaying this graph taken yesterday, Thursday, Pandora dropped more than 5% during Tuesday, the day of their report, and has since started its climb back to pre-report levels. Following the same trend of Danish large-cap scene is shipping group AP Møller-Mærsk. They reported their report for 2016 this Wednesday, coming in significantly lower than pre-report expectations. Maersk reports an EBITDA of $6.7 billion for 2016 compared to $9 billion for the year before and the consensus estimate of $7.2 billion. The dividend is cut in half from 300 Danish kroner to 150. As a result of this disappointment, the company's stock dropped following the report, as displayed in this graph from Infront. Maersk dropped about 4% during Wednesday. In Sweden, this week has been busy on the Swedish Stock Exchange. Tuesday, companies like Axfood, JM, Securitas, Dedicare reported their quarterly reports, followed Wednesday by ABB, Handelsbanken, Millicom, and Eniro. Thursday, Betsson, Husqvarna, Collector, and Concentric. Finally, today, Friday, with Haldex, Boliden, Kinnviken, and Peab, among others. After today, just a few of the SME Direkt cover Nordic companies has not yet presented their report. SME Direkt covers 90 to 95% of the Nordic market cap and 90% of the Stockholm Stock Exchange market cap. The Swedish listed companies has yet just about outperformed the expected levels of turnover, margin, and pre-tax result. 12% of the reported companies have performed in the category of much better than the expectations. 7% position themselves in the much worse category. Looking into one of the reports, Handelsbanken reported a fourth quarter that was below the expectations. The operating result was 4.7 billion Swedish kronor compared to 5.5 billion Swedish kronor year over year. Expected was a level of barely 5 billion. The biggest difference between result and expectation could be found among credit losses, where Handelsbanken reported a level of 832 million Swedish kronor in credit losses. Expected was 465. The company's stock was within the OMX's 30 index during Wednesday, day of the report, the stock which declined the most and held back the Stockholm Stock Exchange. This graph is taken yesterday, Thursday, and covers a 5-day period. Finally, in Finland, the insurance giant Sampo reported a Q4 exceeding the expectations. Sampo's pre-tax result was 528 million euro compared to SME Direkt consensus of 480 million. And as you can see in this graph, the company's stock surged initially on the report but quickly fell back down to pre-report levels. Sampo CEO Kari Stadig commented on the year saying, quote, "Despite the low interest rate environment, 2016 was a very good year for us." The suggested dividend for the shareholders are the highest in company's history at 230 euro per share. That was the headlines for today's program. We will be back again next week with more Nordic news. Thank you for watching.